Good morning, afternoon, and evening, everyone. Thank you all for joining us on our webinar today, presented by SaaSMAX, Security as a Service, Building Stacks and Bundles. A little housekeeping as we get started. In the chat box, please feel free to put any questions in that you have for any of our presenters today, and we will be answering those at the end of the webinar. And don't forget, we also have a raffle today from Webroot of an Amazon Echo that will go out to one of the attendees today. So stay tuned because we'll be announcing that at the end. If you have any problems with the webinar, you can't see something, you can't hear something, please post in the chat and I will be monitoring that. Put your questions in the question pane of your GoToWebinar, and we will be answering those as we go at the end of the webinar as well. I am Laura Stewart, and I am the Director of Online Channel Events for SaaSMAX, a former MSP, and a broadcast radio host on iHeartRadio as well today. So I'm looking forward to being with you all. If you have any questions, I'm here to answer them for you. Our agenda for today is we're going to talk about the SaaSMAX Security as a Service initiative. Then we're going to introduce our sponsor from CompTIA, and we'll then present Webroot, IRONSCALES, and CompTIA Group, and we have amazing speakers from each of those companies that will be talking about their programs and their products with you today. Then Clint Gatewood will come back on and speak about the SaaSMAX Commerce Platform, how you can get your own white label private cybersecurity web store where you can put lots of wonderful apps that have been vetted, that have amazing channel programs into your own cybersecurity store. And we will raffle off an Amazon Echo from Webroot. Now I'd like to introduce Clint Gatewood, Vice President of Channel and Reseller Partner Development for SaaSMAX. And Clint, for those of you who are not familiar with Clint, he has been in the channel, developing channel programs for as long as I can remember. He has helped me when I had my MSP develop amazing services to all of my clients. So I'd like to introduce Clint Gatewood. Clint?
Thank you, Laura, very much. I appreciate it. I'm Clint Gatewood, and then welcome everyone to our cybersecurity webinar. And we're going to be moving pretty fast, so hang on. We got some great vendors today talking about how you can build your cybersecurity stacks and provide a cohesive package for your clients that you want to go out and provide cybersecurity for. Next slide. So why, just real quick, why on cybersecurity? I mean, cybersecurity spending will hit over $1 trillion over the next 5 years. It's just really an epidemic. You know, it's costing the world market today about $445 billion in cybercrime, and we have to remember, you know, this is a business to them. You know, it's how they make their living. It's what they do, and they basically don't see anything wrong with it. And it's really becoming an epidemic. And it's not just affecting the large and medium businesses; it's affecting businesses of all sizes. So that's really why we're focused on cybersecurity here at SaaSMAX to help our solution providers come with a really good package of their clients. So when you look at providing a security as a service stack or a CCAS stack, whichever you want to call it out there, a lot of different acronyms out there today, it's really about protection, detection, correction, mitigation of those particular issues. And especially when you're looking at the small and medium businesses, there's very few or any products out there today that cover the entire stack of what you need to cover, everything from IOT to perimeter detection to antivirus and phishing, and you know, there's everything out there, right? Your Internet of Things. So there's a lot of different disciplines out there, and they're all kind of their own discipline. And you know, whenever you're looking at how solution providers today are providing that for the small and medium businesses, is they're looking for some of the best CCAS out there, or security as a service type applications that they can stack and bundle together into a cohesive solution that they provide to their clients. And that's really what we're working towards here at SaaSMAX. And we have some of our vendors here today that will present their products to you and why you should be interested in them and how they're going to help you achieve that. And then we'll move on, and we're going to start with CompTIA. I wanted to introduce Dean Gilbreth. He's the Senior Manager of Member Relations at CompTIA. I've got to know Dean really well. If you're not involved in CompTIA, he's going to tell you about it. If you're not involved in it, it's a great, fantastic organization. It's a nonprofit for the IT vendors and also for the channel, bringing them together. But Dean, I'll let you talk about your organization yourself.
Thanks, Clint. Appreciate it. Hey, real quick, welcome to everybody, and thanks for having CompTIA on board. CompTIA is primarily located in the SaaSMAX marketplace. So in the marketplace, you can join as a member company. We're a membership-driven nonprofit organization, and our goal is really just to advance the IT industry. And we do that through a number of different ways, whether it's our research, our education, events we put on and such. But encourage everybody out there to join as a member company. You can do that through the marketplace. Also on the marketplace, you can get to our technical certifications, and the certifications are very technical in nature, and we have one special one for IT security. So it's a great way to really get an understanding of the IT industry from a very technical aspect. And then finally, we have an area for getting an executive certificate in IT security, which is more of a business level understanding of the IT education marketplace. And it's about a 4-hour course in IT security targeted towards the business executive to get a really good understanding. And then on the next slide, I'm going to introduce Kevin Leeson from our organization, who's going to talk about our cybersecure opportunity and cybersecure licenses that are available as a member organization can take up to 50 licenses. Kevin, want to take it away?
Yeah, thanks, Dean. I just want to introduce myself. As Dean said, I'm Kevin Leeson. I head up the membership side of our cybersecure program. So cybersecure is an hour-long self-paced training course that focuses on implications of security behaviors of every employee. As Dean mentioned, a benefit with CompTIA is that you can take advantage of up to 50 free seats per year. If you were to purchase additional seats after the 50, you'd get a 10% discount on those as well. These seats can be distributed internally and externally. We do ask that you do not resell the seats, but you are more than welcome for the solution providers to package them up in your hourly rates or your fees or anything like that. Previous organizations have also used these as onboarding for training new employees, much like a sexual harassment training video. It's perfect for an onboarding like that. If anyone has any questions about it, I'm Kevin Leeson. My number is 630-678-8306. Thank you.
Yeah, we'll send that information out. So let's make sure we have your phone number, Kevin, so we can send it out to all the attendees and everyone so that they know how to get a hold of you. So as we move on, and when you look at cybersecurity, go on to the next slide there, we really broke down into a couple of disciplines as we were talking about before. Next slide, Laura. Yeah, so we really broke it down into about 12 categories when you take a look at it in how a lot of the products out there and a lot of the CCaaS position themselves in the different areas. And as we go through our different vendors today, they fit into different places, into network marketing, network security, data leakage, IT, so we really got them broken down into the areas that you really need to focus on to provide a cohesive package to your clients today. And we're going to move on now. We're going to move on to Webroot. And it's my pleasure to introduce George Anderson. I've gotten to know him just recently. Fantastic guy. You're going to love him. Been in the IT industry for a long time. But I'll let you talk about his qualifications. And George, it's your show, bud.
Hi, welcome everybody. Thanks, Clint. Nice introduction. Yeah, I was looking at those stacks, and funnily enough, we fit into those stacks quite well. Let's go to the next slide, and I'll just get straight on with this because it's 10 minutes. So Webroot's been around for a while. It was sort of established as a spyware company back in 1997. And in fact, I actually remember Webroot coming to me when I was working still in the UK in IT security there, and saying to me, hey, there's this thing for taking spyware and out of enterprises and doing removal. And it was mainly about adware and those things in those days. Very different company. I think really the company sort of completely reinvented itself, became almost a startup back in about 2012, 2011, because at that stage we launched what we call our Webroot Secure Anywhere endpoint product. And that was really quite a revolutionary product. It was a very revolutionary product. It was sort of using a very, very small agent. It was using the cloud to do all the sort of the termination work rather than using the processing on the PC itself. It was a highly automated solution, and it was a very effective way because it had been designed to actually counter unknown malware. And it was done in the belief because we'd actually seen it, because we'd actually been selling AV before, traditional AV before that. We knew the problems with traditional AV, and we realized it was pretty much broken as a model, and so something new had to be created. So that's why we actually created the product too. So I now work in the business unit. We offer endpoint security, we offer mobile security. We offer web security. We've got an imminent new DNS protection service, which is literally next week. It comes out, and we're going to trials of that next week with our MSPs. So this is, if you like, a competitor, if you like, I suppose, to OpenDNS, if you want to think of it that way as a product and a touch base, we all know, fully integrated in with our sort of current solution. On that stack that we were showing there, we do have a product which is not mentioned, which is a new product, which is is really to do with behavioral analytics. So we're doing things like IoT and some of the network areas which people are maybe not so aware of too. One of the things also about Webroot that a lot of people don't know is we have probably got the largest threat intelligence platform in existence, at least the largest real-time platform. It's handling something like about 500 billion objects a day. And we have a whole lot of then bright cloud threat intelligence services which sort of feed out of that and spin out of that, which are actually built into a lot of about another 40 vendors odd products. So they OEM that technology and build it in. So things like IP rep to improve firewalls, URL filters, those sort of things. So a really interesting, it gives a very interesting view of the environment out there, because we see their customer environments as well as seeing our own and what's going on the internet. So it makes it sort of a very accurate and very timely thing. So a lot of sort of grunts behind quite a small company in the sense of the overall the large players in the security industry. Next slide, please. So our focus in the business is almost entirely, it's like 99% focuses on MSPs. We do some traditional channel business still, but what we did very early on, we sort of did a very large deal with Anatel, a company in Australia, and they had about 11,000 seats. So I think they were like that time one of the 10 largest MSPs in the world. This is back 2012, and they said to us, your product is so ideal for MSPs. And we took a look at that, and we sort of had long conversations with them and thought, yes, we're cloud-based, all fully remote management. We've automated a lot. There's no updating. There's no on-premise servers. Whole lot of things sort of that MSPs would like. So then we started to concentrate on the MSP market. And as you can see, the growth since then has been dramatic. I think we recruited something like 1,900 to 2,000 MSPs just last year. And I think we're now over, and I'm talking about financial year, so going back a little bit as well. And we're now sort of well over 9,000 MSPs. And, that's probably, in my view, the fussiest market to sell to, because MSPs, one, they talk to each other, they share information, which is great. But also, if you're doing things badly, they'll let you know very quickly, and they'll let their colleagues know very quickly too. So it's very important to, when you're servicing that market, and we do believe we're sort of like a service partner to that market, it's important to get things right, and your product needs to work. Next slide, please. So from a channel partner perspective, we've got an award-winning, Channel Edge program for MSPs. It's as it says there, market-proven, reliable solution there. We do easy to sell and trial. One of the great things about Webroot is the fact that the agent's actually about 700, 800 kilobytes in size. So you can install it in 5 seconds. It doesn't conflict. So if you want to actually try the product alongside existing products, it's very easy to do that. So it's easy to sell and trial, and whether you're selling to customers, and it also means that when you come to deploy it, you can do that very quickly, which is a huge thing. I mean, I think Continuum, are a partner of ours. They distributed something like 400,000 odd seats within about 30 days of our product. So if you think of a traditional AV product, that's a dramatic sort of thing to do. So very easy to get out there and use and trial and see the results. And it sort of stops you having to rip and replace as well. So there's a lot of things on the partner benefit side there for that. So I think what I'd say is we're highly recommended by MSPs, going to communities. We believe we're probably the most profitable endpoint security solution in the market. There's different stats on that. Different people see savings in different areas, but everybody who uses us because we stop the bad stuff as well as anybody else, if not better. And we're actually very low cost to operate there. Next slide, please. I think it was mentioned there, by the way, just the end of that slide, just to mention RMM and PSA integrations. We get integrations with people like ConnectWise, Autotask, Continuum, LabTech is now, Ninja, Atera. There's a lot of RMM and PSA integrations. We do that because we realize MSPs would like to manage things from a single pane of glass, and that's really important for them. All right, sorry, next slide, sorry. So partnering with Webroot, sort of things you get out of us. Obviously, we have this resource center when you can get a whole lot of collateral, personalized collateral, etc. We help with lead generation. We do sort of free, tracking, if you like, of campaigns for you. We do web content syndication, so it can help you with your social stuff. We do training, obviously, and enablement. And I think, we also got a very flexible billing sort of situation. Everything from annual with, annual with monthly, if you like, actual monthly billing to you, to actually the ultimate thing, which is actually a no commitment deal. You can just buy the product off us month by month. You do pay a little bit more for that, obviously, because there is no commitment. But nonetheless, I mean, if you just want to ease in and try it on a very small client and get sort of a feel for it, then we make that very, very easy for people to do too. So that's a useful thing. Next slide, please. This is just some of the sort of typical things you do and what you would get at the resource center, and let's see what it is. I don't want to dwell on this too much. It's, it's 10 minutes, so I think I'm almost up in time, but you can see the sort of things, sales enablement, the partner engagement stuff, the newsletter we have. There's a very strong community as well, so it's a very active thing. We encourage, our customers and our MSPs especially to talk to each other as well, both inside Webroot as well as, get involved with them outside and things like Spiceworks and other communities. Next slide, please. Really, to close, I think, again, I could come here and tell you lots of things. I've just given you sort of a quick overview there, sort of a 60,000 feet view. This is something to do with some of the people that are using the product, and you can see sort of thing, reduce security management from 6 hours a week to 30 minutes a week. Maintenance for queues cut in half compared to complexity, the ease of deployment. And then really, one of the guys, Marathon Consulting, is one of, is an MSP, and his sort of thing about the saving in time and the fact that, that having poor endpoint security goes beyond sort of just customer dissatisfaction. It also, entails that high cost of ownership. And I think with Webroot, it's not just one thing. It's not just the efficacy you buy it, us stopping malware and lots of it and protecting people and protecting against ransomware and all the things you'd expect from an endpoint security solution. It's all the other things that are wrapped around that. It's the fact that we treat you as a service partner, that we give you, you make the management very easy, and we sort of add a lot of added value around that basic relationship and try and help our MSPs be as successful as possible, because basically your success is our success. It translates as easy as that when you're focused on that, on you guys and helping you out. And that's it.
Great, thank you very much. And just real quick, because it's an easy question that we had come in, Rodney was asking if you do any work or integrate with Spiceworks.
We haven't done a direct integration with Spiceworks. Funny enough, I spoke to, so the short answer is no. I should just get off with that. But yeah, no. But we've had conversations with them, and we probably, we attend SpiceWorld. We're part of their community, so we should probably, I think we should probably do something.
Okay, thanks. Great, George. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. I know you're well used with managed service providers out there, and everything's doing very well and very well respected. So thank you for the presentation. And then we'll be announcing, George will be announcing the winner of the Amazon Echo here at the end. So stay on and see if you won. So again, get back into coming up on our next presentation. And just to remind you, we're looking at the stacks and looking where they fit in. Where they fit into endpoint protection, they fit into threat intelligence, those types of pieces. So as you're looking at your portfolio, as you're thinking about the different vendors you're seeing here today, where do they fit into your portfolio, and where are you needing some additional help there? So it's another great pleasure of mine. I've gotten to know Eyal and especially his team. He's got a fantastic team over at IRONSCALES, a very young, dynamic young man. And but I'm going to turn it over to him and let you talk about IRONSCALES and what his team can do for you. Eyal?
Thanks, Clint. Hi, everyone. Thank you very much for joining us to this webinar today. So my name is Eyal Benishti, a security researcher, analyst in my past. In the last 3 years, running IRONSCALES with a mission to help organizations to fight phishing. And next slide, please, Laura. So IRONSCALES was founded with a mission to help organizations to fight what we consider to be as an epidemic, and it's phishing and spear phishing attacks. We believe that the current ways that the traditional ways that are being used in order to stop phishing, which is email filters or just trying to build awareness as two different separate efforts in order to reduce the risk, are not working. And we came with what is considered to be a unique way to solve this phishing problem by bringing those two parts together and basically augmenting human intelligence with artificial intelligence in a way that allows them to support each other in the fight against phishing and bring a much better protection. We are already recognized by some analysts and some awards out there for being innovative and bringing a very unique approach, and some partnership with some big and strong security vendors that works on our backend in order to support this effort of stopping phishing. Next slide, please. So the main problem today organizations are facing is the fact that most phishing attacks are going undetected, which means once they go past filter or other traditional solutions, they're normally sitting in employee mailboxes as ticking time bombs and waiting to be clicked on. It happens because spear phishing is highly evasive and very good in bypassing all those secure email gateways and spam filters. The second reason is that it's very hard to teach everyone how to spot phishing. Some people will never learn, no matter how hard we try. And of course, the fact that the SOC team is short-handed and very busy handling 500 different alerts they're receiving on a daily basis, struggling hard to prioritize and decide like what they're going to act on, and of course need to create some manual workflows in order to make sure that these attacks are being handled correctly. Long and tedious task that is the privilege of large organizations that have SOC, but like I said, short-handed, and something that small and even medium companies don't have at all. Next slide, please. So how big is this problem? So according to SANS Institute, 95% of all successful attacks start as spear phishing. It's literally the virtual front door of every organization for cybercrimes to walk in, crafting a very convincing email, buying some piece of malware from the dark web, and it's a game over. It can be a ransomware and any other things, and it's a growing problem. Like we can see it growing quarter after quarter because they know how to monetize and they use it as the main vehicle to drive those kinds of malicious software. And as for now, the vast majority of phishing emails are coming with ransomware because, like I said, they know how to make money out of it. And it's very common these days, and it's very devastating for companies that are falling victim to these kinds of piece of malware, because normally it means a huge loss of money, and the large enterprise is currently losing almost $4 million over the year from phishing attacks. Next slide, please. So what we do is we help our customers with three different things, as you can imagine. We help them to change employee behavior, which means we do try to teach employees how to spot phishing emails and how to avoid clicking and even reporting back to the security operation center. And we use this report in order to increase detection rates and decrease time by using a very sophisticated machine learning based algorithm behind the scenes that can collect user reports and make smart and automated decision based on what security and non-security personnel are reporting on. And of course, we're helping the SOC or basically providing what we call a virtual SOC member in order to be able to give a 24/7 coverage for ongoing phishing reports and incident reports. Next slide, please. So IRONSCALES came with what we call a multi-layered approach to help organizations to fight this epidemic by stopping whatever is known out there, making sure that things that weren't stopped by what we call the traditional solutions are not being clicked on, by increasing awareness, increasing detection by giving them smart visual AI tools on their email client in order to provide with better insights to increase detection on top of the awareness that we just provided, and of course to give some incentive to report back to us and the security team. We share all this information across all the organizations that we are protecting in order to make sure that zero-day phishing attacks are being intercepted for one company will be blocked immediately or remediated in some other company that are experiencing the same attack. And of course, last but not least, we respond to this attack, whether it's an on-premises email server or cloud email server. We know how to go and clean the mess, make sure that all the infected mailboxes are fully remediated in order to make sure that less aware employees won't fall victim to this attack and click on the link or open the attachment. So we streamline everything from prevention, detection, and remediation in a way that allow a full comprehensive solution to fight with phishing. Next slide, please. So who's buying IRONSCALES today? The simple answer is everyone, because everyone is experiencing phishing. But we mostly see financial, healthcare, energy, and everything which is compliancy or the regulation forcing him to come with some kinds of measurable security awareness and incident response. So we see small and large enterprises basically adopting these kinds of programs, platforms, and solutions to fight with phishing and build awareness. Next slide, please. So what we give our partners basically is an opportunity to address huge pain points of a growing problem, which is phishing, of course. We know that most of our clients are actively approaching their security advisors, which are in most cases the channel partner, actively looking for something to help them to fight the phishing epidemic. Because, like I said, already tried spam filters, email filters, anti-malware, and all these kinds of solutions, and are still experiencing and suffering from phishing attacks. So they do look for new kinds of techniques and solutions to fight phishing. It's a great way to attract new customers because it's very easy to sell and start with IRONSCALES. It's a software as a service, cloud-based solution. Zero deployment, like I say, very appealing for most of the customers who don't want to go and start a long and tedious project of installing things on their network or on their endpoints. So it's very easy to start the relationship with this huge and easy deployable kind of solution. And of course, innovation, because channel partners and managed service providers are not that successful, not on the sales and not on the margins with all the traditional solutions. So selling antivirus firewall solution is not bringing any added value to their customers, and they normally want to show some added value and to show that they are on the cutting edge of the new solution. So we definitely help them on that part. Next slide, please. On top of that, we are currently, we're relatively new company, a bit more than 3 years old, and we already experiencing a very high customer lifetime value. Our retention is less than 5%. So we see customers buying and renewing the licenses with IRONSCALES again and again. Like I said, it's super easy to deploy it, API-based solution. It takes less than an hour to have a customer up and running with our system, fully protected end-to-end. We are MSP and MSSP ready, which means all our capabilities are on one hand are unified in a dashboard that allow you to manage and provision all your customers from a single place as a single dashboard, and everything is being served with a RESTful API, which means if you have the capabilities to automate on top of what you are doing today, you can automate the entire process and solution with IRONSCALES. And if you provide with a managed SOC solution, you can make sure that all the phishing reports will come to your SOC team, and you will help your customers to make the resolution and give a managed SOC with phishing solution for your customers. And of course, if your customers are bound to some kind of compliance and regulation, we help them to tick the box on many chapters, including the GDPR that is coming soon, HIPAA and some other compliances that are talking about measurable security awareness. Next slide, please. As for the model and how you're going to make money, so with most of our channel partners and MSP and MSSPs, we're working on a fixed discount per deal. Some of them already bought some bulk of licenses and they'll be selling it to their existing customer. We know how to sell 3 different products at the moment, which is the security awareness, the automated response, and the smart AI email edition on the Outlook client. So you can sell all 3 together or some varieties of those solutions. And of course, since we're moving very fast and coming all the time with new products, features, and ideas, you grow with us and can sell more and more products and solution to your customers. Next slide, please. So this is a quick example of like how the revenue can look in the, let's say, next 3 years. So like I said, we have more than 25% of renewal. You can always add your services on top of the licenses that you sell to your customers. You can have up to 20% discounts, and it's a very sticky solution because once you have an automated way to deal with phishing, it's very hard to give up on that, as we're currently experiencing. So this is a very quick example for how the revenue looks like when you acquire 10 customers a year with an average of 5,000 seats each, including the upsell and the renewals over the years. So if we go to year number 3, it can be hundreds of thousands of dollars in revenue just from those 10 customers. Next slide, please. So we're very involved with our partners. We provide with the kit, we provide with the training. We walk you through the first POCs and the first meetings in order to make sure that you're up to speed and know how to work, pitch, and sell IRONSCALES. We have a customer success team that is dedicated and committed to your success, which means they will make sure that everyone is happy with the deployment and using the system. And we can provide with both the Tier 1 and Tier 2 support based on your preferences as we go.
Great, thank you very much, Eyal. Appreciate the time. So this is my contact information. You always get a hold of me. We'll be putting you in touch with all the vendors today as well that have been on the show. And but you can always get in touch with me with some of your other needs. And moving next to, we'll be moving to CompTIA Group. CompTIA Group is a very interesting company, and we're doing very well with them. Insofar as the stacks and where they fit into the stacks, it's they don't necessarily fall into these particular stacks, but we include them in cybersecurity because they have a great product that will help you drive the sale of your stacks, as well as driving revenue just from what they do. And it's my pleasure to be able to introduce Joe Masato. I've actually known Joe for quite some time and reconnected with him when he came to CompTIA Group. He was working at some solution providers that were partners of mine, just like Laura Stewart was on the call. And just real quick, Joe, just to say, Shulman said hello. So I talked to Richard the other day, so he said to tell you hello. And I'll let you take it from
Oh, boy. Ex-boss. All right. I love that. Thanks, Clint. I appreciate it. Actually, not sure. Did we actually have a slide for the background of the company? I wasn't sure if that was in there. If not, I'll just talk about it here. Yep. Okay. So I'll talk about it here. Thanks, everybody, for spending some time with us. And good morning, good afternoon, wherever you guys are. And thanks for staying on for me. So obviously, you guys are here today, and you're in a good spot because I think SaaSMAX is doing the right thing for their partners and getting you in touch with the right solutions. And hopefully we're one of those solutions that you can see some value from, right? The idea of, I'm going to change it up a little bit. I'm going to talk a little bit more about compliance and how it really relates to security. But before I do that, just a quick background. Again, I know that my time restriction here, so if you want to learn more, you feel free to contact Clint or myself. But the idea, where we come from, just why should you be listening to this guy, this organization? Well, CompTIA Group. We started in 2005. We were large-scale HIPAA auditors throughout the country, right? So what we did is we were involved in a lot of large-scale implementations, just HIPAA engagements, and we really felt the need in the market to develop a tool that the end user could use to manage their own compliance program, right? We'd often go into engagements. You pick LA in California. We did 9 hospitals, 1,200 clinics just in the county. We very quickly realized that these organizations, even with a full compliance team, had real trouble articulating to us what their compliance program was. Thus, you know, they would have trouble articulating that to the government, which would make them pretty much uncompliant, right? If you cannot illustrate your compliance, you are not in compliance. So the idea is we developed this tool, and we have a full-fledged partner program to help you launch this out to your clients. So we are nationwide, and we do this a lot. So you can go to the next slide. Thank you. All right, so compliance and security. We're talking a lot about security today, which is great. It's a great lead-in to what we're doing, right? So if those of you on the call who deal in healthcare, you sort of should be having this picture in mind, and if you don't understand this picture, this is a good slide to sort of articulate to you what you should be doing for your clients and what your responsibility truly is. So as a business associate, technically you guys on this call, if you're an MSP or an IT consultant, an IT company doing business with a covered entity, that medical client, you need to be HIPAA compliant as well. All right, but the idea of security, right? Security is we're doing the best thing we can. We can lock down the network. We're going to put encryption on the servers. We're going to secure messaging platforms. We're going to have a nice, robust firewall. We're going to put all this stuff in place. In the end, it's part of an overall compliance program. There's certain things the government requires that you have to have on board on your network in order to be HIPAA compliant. But in the end, that is different than compliance. Okay, the idea of compliance is what we do on the left-hand side, CompTIA Group, and we obviously work with our members in the channel, obviously, to provide security to our members and of our organization. So the idea of compliance and security, the example I'm going to give and why it goes in, why they sort of are very cohesive in nature is you need both, right? Both have to be done, but the idea of, let's take a lost laptop, which may cause a HIPAA breach, you could say, right? The idea of this lost laptop, it now exposed medical information, right? So it got into the wrong hands, somebody got the laptop. The idea is your client, they will never be fined for the lost laptop, but when the government comes in, what they're going to do is they're going to review your compliance program, and you might get fined for something like this. Maybe you don't have a policy that says what you should or should not be doing in regards to that laptop while after work, after hours, or maybe on vacation. If you don't have that clearly articulated in your policy, train your employees on what you should be doing with that laptop. That's where the fines come from. So just to wrap this up, make it quick, the idea is that almost 100% of HIPAA breaches come through, obviously, some form of technology, some security, some authorized access into the network, right? The idea is when the breach actually happens, though, you'll never get fined for anything on the security side, but you will get fined for not having an effective compliance program. And that's what I'm sort of going to go through. That's where 100% of the fines come from, is not having an effective compliance program. Okay, so as we go into it, we are talking about security today. So one of the things I wanted to bring up is very confusing landscape out there. What is and what is not a HIPAA breach, right? The idea is we all know as technology professionals, we're in that network. You know, you might see whether it's ransomware sitting on the network, you might see unauthorized access in the network. Is this something I have to report? Remember, this year, 2017, there's no more grace period. You have to be reporting directly to HHS if there's actually a HIPAA breach. Okay, so the idea, or OCR, I'm sorry, which is part of HHS, so Office of Civil Rights, which is the enforcement arm for HIPAA. But the idea is, when do you report? How do I know I should be reporting? Well, the idea is really, can you prove that that data was inaccessible, right? The idea of I'm looking at this and I can prove that no one was able to expose this information, okay? If that information was not exposed and you can prove it, you technically do not have to report this to HHS. Okay, so a big part of the law, this is very cumbersome, a little bit confusing for the technology company who's supporting the end user. So you really have to read up on this thing. You can see here on the screen, obviously not all breaches are HIPAA violations. So it's very important to make sure you're up to date on what you need to do, because your compliance also, part of being in compliance is something called the breach notification rule, and you need to be proactive with your customer in letting them know how to go about reporting a breach. And in some cases, obviously, you're the one who found the breach. You have to report that to your covered entity. All right, so we're sort of going to talk a little bit more about what that is and what it means to be HIPAA compliant yourself. Okay, so most of you on this call, you might be considered, obviously, business associates in the eyes of the government. Okay, so as of 2013, not only do covered entities are people who deal with medical information directly, hospitals, medical practices, insurance companies of medical information, obviously, in medical plans. They are considered covered entities and need to be HIPAA compliant. Now, you guys on the call, maybe you're an MSP, maybe you're a technology that feeds into the network. You guys, because you have potential access to PHI, you are considered a business associate, and therefore you need to be HIPAA compliant as of 2013. Not only do you have to be compliant, your covered entity must be providing you an agreement called a business associate agreement, and you must have that agreement in place between both parties. And what that does is it really separates the liability between the covered entity and the business associate. It basically says we both need to know we need to be HIPAA compliant. I'm going to do what I need to do on my back end. You're going to do what you need to do on your end. All right. So the idea is it separates liability. If you do not have one in place today, that is one of the driving factors by HHS right now. All right. So the omnibus rule, very important part of the law. Make sure you're getting HIPAA compliant. Make sure you're doing the right thing. Make sure you have an agreement in place with your end user. Okay, so how do we do this thing? What is an effective compliance program? I'm sort of going to tie two things together. I'm going to show you what we do, but I'm also going to show you what an effective compliance program is. Okay, so why we're a little different, why we're known in the market, we have, manage about 14,000 endpoints throughout the country. We do really well because we have this aspect of a HIPAA coach. Okay, this is a HIPAA expert who we're going to align with you. And remember, as I go through this is similar to what you need to be going through, just like your end user, right? So we align a coach with you. They're going to truly help you achieve HIPAA compliance. I'll show you what that means and what the plan actually is to do so. But keep in mind, they're going to hold your hand. Not only are we teaching you how to use this very simple to use web-based tool, and again, web-based, nothing to load onto your client's network, designed for everybody in that organization to use. Okay, so the idea is this HIPAA coach is going to align with you or align with your client, and you're going to be using your HIPAA coach, building a relationship with them, usually a series of 5 to 8 go-to meetings like we're doing today, about 30 minutes a meeting, 1 to 2 hours in between each meeting. So overall, you are looking at overall HIPAA compliance. If we're talking about HIPAA today, you are looking at about 20 to 30 hours of work over 2 to 3 months. That is the true effort to become HIPAA compliant. Okay, again, I'm going to go through what that is. What does it mean to be HIPAA compliant? Not only are we going to help you do that, we're going to help you illustrate your compliance. If you cannot illustrate your compliance, obviously you are not in compliance with the eyes of the government. So you have to be able to articulate these things back to the government in case of a HIPAA breach and audit comes your way. How are you going to illustrate that, right? You might think you're in compliance, but can you really prove it, right? That is the point. Maintaining compliance, our system has everything you need to maintain compliance, truly alerts everybody in your organization on what they need to be doing and when they need to do it. Okay, so what is an effective compliance program he's talking about? How do I make this work? What do I need to do as a business associate? Well, if you look at the right-hand side of the screen, we'll start at the top where it says audits. The government requires 6 major audits each year that you have to internally review yourself. So you have to audit yourself 6 times. This is more than just the technology risk assessment, right? So we looked at that other slide before with security. The idea is yes, security is a big part of HIPAA compliance. It is not the end-all be-all. When they come in, they're going to want to see that back-end compliance program in place, okay? So there's 6 major audits. We're going to take you through those audits. We're going to take your clients through those audits. We're going to make sure they answer the questions appropriately. We are going to automatically identify all the gaps in the HIPAA law, which is really what you need to be doing in accordance with the law. You have to internally audit yourself. You have to identify the gaps. Then you have to build remediation plans to address those gaps. So we will help the end user and yourself build remediation plans for each one of your gaps. About 15–20% is going to be technology-related things. Remember, only about 15–20% on average is what we see. That could be encryption, secure messaging, email, new firewall. That would go to you guys. If you were to partner with us, you guys would get that project work. We'll continue on. We'll work with the client on their soft side compliance stuff, which is really where that 80% of the gaps will be. So another part of the law, after you build remediation plans, is you have to be using policies, procedures, and training that are not only saying the right things, but they have to be customized to your own organization. A lot of the reason we see people fail their audits is they have policies, procedures, and training, but they never took the time to really customize that to their own organization. Okay, so that is a big red flag in the eyes of HHS, and you will get a fine based on having templated policies, procedures, and training. We do provide all this to our end users. We help them customize it to their own organization, which accurately reflects the law and how you operate. We also, part of the law is all your employees must attest to these trainings each year. All right, so we're going to do that. We're going to make sure all your employees attest to their training through that web-based tool. They all get a login. They all get alerted. And the business associate management. Okay, so as a part of this, obviously we talked about the omnibus rule, where you guys lie. You guys are now business associates, right? You think about an end user client, covered entity, you could say. Think about how many business associates they may have. It might be their shredding company. Stuff you guys might know, the shredding company, accountant, a lawyer, anybody who has direct access to PHI, protective health information, they need to be HIPAA compliant as well. So we'll review all the business associates that end user has. We will go through that with them, and we'll make sure that they're appropriate vendors for them to continue to use. If not, we'll make suggestions on when and who maybe they should do business with. Incident remediation, the idea is that the law states that you have to have an anonymous place for your employees to reach out to your compliance officer internally to report an incident. We actually provide that as well. So this whole circle, that is an effective compliance program. Just quickly, yep, I'm done with that. Thank you. That's what we do in a nutshell, right? We take them from soup to nuts, all through their HIPAA compliance program, provide a great plug-in for MSPs who don't want to play in that soft side compliance and have that liability. We are an excellent plug-in, and we'll make sure you and your client are doing the right thing in accordance with the law. Real quick on health and human services, this is the wall of shame. So for any of you out there who think HIPAA just applies to large hospitals, go take a look at the wall of shame after this call. You'll be surprised. There's over 1,800 records of people who've been audited and the reasons they failed on HHS's wall of shame. All right, so it's a great tool to be selling to your clients and using examples in the market of why this is more than just major hospitals. Okay, so similar to what we've heard our friends on the call today, they talked about their program. We're going to help you as well, and obviously we're really good at this. And one of the things that differentiates us, we're really a product that can help get you in the doors, right? What are we going to do? We're going to help differentiate your firm. You're going up, let's say, against another MSP. They are not HIPAA compliant. They cannot prove their compliance. They cannot speak the compliance game to their clients. This will win you the deal over that MSP. You have a nice seal of compliance. We'll give you that. No certification in the market, but we have a nice verification type system that we will actively be proactive in letting the market know you're compliant. Obviously, you want to open up new markets. You want to penetrate the market that you're in and retain your existing clients, because remember, you legally have to be HIPAA compliant for you to do business with any healthcare entity. We will help you do that. Obviously, we're running a promo. It's $500 off for anybody who attends today. If you want more information, please let me or Clinton know, and we'd be happy to do that. Here's an example. If you have 10 clients already, you say, Joe, I do play in healthcare. I'm not HIPAA compliant. You know, how much does this really mean for me? Well, we're going to go over raw numbers if you talk to me, but the idea is if you have 10 clients in healthcare, and these are small entities. If you look to the left, it'll say healthcare clients with 20 employees. These are a single practice employees, 20, right? You get 10 of those clients. We literally can increase your revenue by almost $300,000 in 1 year. That's by 10 clients, okay? That's a combination of project work you're going to get, a combination of new services you're going to offer that client, and a combination of revenue you'll make on our licenses. So it is a very profitable, lucrative program. All right, and one of the big things that we are very good at, I have to say, I have to put my stamp of approval on this, taking my sales hat off for a second. You know, the idea of marketing, right? So you really want a partner who really gets it, really gets the channel, really gets what you're doing, how you're trying to go to market, you know, what kind of money do you want to spend, what are you doing on a monthly basis to promote your offering? Well, we're highly educational. We will provide our partners almost an unlimited amount of resources. Not only do we have Partner Central, which gives you a whole bunch of stuff you guys can pull out of that. We do a whole bunch of educational webinars for your prospects, your clients, really showing them not the product, but talking to them about their HIPAA compliance and seeing if they actually are doing the right thing. We see in the market about 70% actually coming from HHS. This is 70% of the market is nowhere near compliance. All right, so there is a need in the market for this type of solution. We'll give you all the formal training you need. We do as many demos and webinars as you would like, obviously monthly sales calls, and we are pretty robust at this. We do the right thing. I think there's another slide that talks even more about our partner program. Yep, so there's a partner portal. Obviously, as an MSP myself, when I was logging in to these partner portals, what was the biggest thing, right? You guys probably all agree, you're probably laughing right now. It's a little confusing, right? You go into, let's say, Microsoft's portal, Cisco's portal, trying to register deals. Where am I going? What the heck are they showing me? Well, you come to Compliance Group, it is very simple, okay? There's 6 major categories. You know exactly where you're going, and we're able to pull out as much information as you want. Very simple, to the point, really good information. And I think that we're very straightforward in helping our customers sell. Yep. That's it, just the one? Oh, there we go. See? And here's some of the examples of the stuff that you can pull out. Obviously, everything's affiliate tracked. You put this on your website, somebody clicks on it, comes back to our website, we'll be able to prove that as your lead, right? We're very good with affiliate tracking, very good at watching your lead, not to overstep your toes, and just do the right thing. I think you would find us a breath of fresh air working with us doing marketing and sales. There we go. All right. So thanks, everybody. I appreciate it. And again, if you want to learn more, I'd be more than happy to talk to you. Obviously, again, SaaSMAX, thank you for having us. You've been nothing but a great partner. And I encourage all of you guys to get involved with SaaSMAX. It truly is a great organization. And today we are doing $500 off. So if this is something you need for your clients, I'd be more than happy to talk to you. And even if it's something you're looking to differentiate yourself, you're not even in the healthcare space. You need to be, remember, you need to be HIPAA compliant. You need to be illustrating that, and you have to go to market. What better way to do that than with CompTIA Group? We can help you. So I appreciate the time, and hopefully I'll talk to some of you guys on the call very soon. Thanks, Clint.
Okay, great. Thanks, Joe. Appreciate your time. So real quickly, we're going to get moving right into the end here. I'm not going to spend much time on SaaSMAX. Many of you are already our solution providers, and if not, we'll be in touch with you to talk more about what we do. We do have lots of vendors, lots of solution, thousands of solution providers, and a couple hundred different applications to choose from. You can go to the next slides, Laura. So if you just want to slip down there, so we have lots of different solution providers, lots of different applications for you to choose from and to work with there with us. And we'll go on to the next slide. And that one we've already talked about this, and it's all about when you look at clients, when you look at solution providers and you look at different resellers and managed service providers, MSSPs, you look at the different companies out there today, those successful with a lot of different SaaS products out there and software as a service are bundling those into different stacks and bundles. And it's no different than cybersecurity. It's really critical that you look at your business and the areas that you're covering and find something that you can fit into your stacks and your bundles that will fit well for your clients. Next slide, Laura. Coming up really, very soon, we got about 25, 30 of our solution providers today into our cybersecurity marketplace, into the web stores that we'll be launching. So we'll have this marketplace out to you very soon, along with our solution provider e-commerce platforms on the next slide with that one. So we'll be providing the ability for all of our solution providers to come into SaaSMAX, choose the products that they want to sell, and launch their very own white labeled e-commerce platform, which is a quote-to-cash system. So you can add your own products and services on it. It allows you to bundle all those different products that you want into one product and bundle your services on them. And we help out with the marketing and sale of that too. So we're helping out our solution providers with SEO, as well as be putting on some blogging opportunities there as well, to where you or the vendors that you're working with can place stuff on your blogs to help you get more and more attention, just not inside your region, but also outside your region. And then we provide you the ability to track all your licensing commissions across all the different channel programs you're working with your different clients. But I don't want to spend too much time on us today. I want to get down to questions here. But first, we'll announce our winner here. And I'm going to bring George back on from Webroot. I really appreciate you guys doing the Amazon Echo today. And George, the winner is?
The winner is Stephen Cico, is it? I'm sure it's CICO at allcovered.com. I hope I pronounced that name correctly.
It's CISO, yeah. Stephen CISO. All right.
I don't like to call somebody psycho. But anyway, there you go.
I know Stephen, he is a bit psycho, so the name, great guy. And I want to thank everyone for joining today, but we do have a few questions. So we have about 5 minutes left, so we're gonna hit some questions real quick, and I'm really gonna turn it back over to Laura. But again, y'all, thank you very much. George, thank you for joining us, and Kevin and Dean from CompTIA, and of course Joe, become a good friend of mine over the years, over the last 10, 12 years. Thank you all for joining and supporting us here at SaaSMAX. And so Laura, I'm going to turn it back to you, and thank you very much.
Well, thank you everybody for participating in the webinar today. And after listening to that, Clint, I believe, I know you feel the same way, but I really see that today it has to be a multi-pronged approach to solutions in order to make this work. And I kept thinking about how I could integrate all three of these vendors into my own personal stack if I still had my MSP. So it just really reiterated that for me as well. One of the questions that was asked is directed towards AL at IRONSCALES. Is your bulk license still deployed as SaaS?
Yes, the licenses are deployed as SaaS. In most cases, it's a cloud-based, but for high security kinds of organization, we can deploy as a virtual appliance as well.
Okay. We also have another question from Andre Payne, and if I slaughter this, I'm giving you apologies right now. What is Medea and Macra? And I'm not sure who that is directed to.
I don't know how to answer this question, so it's probably not to me.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know. Sorry, Laura.
Okay. I know that Medea is a character on a Tyler Perry thing, but Andre, if you can put into the question pane a little more information and who you'd like that answer from, please let me know. Otherwise, we'll reach out to you after the webinar to get more information on that. With the multi-layered solutions that were presented today, one of the questions that was sent was, how does that impact the overhead on the infrastructure, not only WAN and LAN for our clients? And that's sort of like a multi-pronged with all of you. So who would like to take that first?
I can take that because obviously a concern with a cloud-based product is the fact that, and you've got endpoints obviously communicating with the cloud, that you're going to be using a lot of bandwidth to do that, and very much the product's designed to be not only light actually on the device itself in the sense of what CPU and RAM usage and disk usage is actually there, but it's absolutely tiny. In fact, we sort of do a report on that each year from Passmark to sort of just prove how good the performance is, if you like, of on-system performance. But we also, literally with us, we're only looking at changed or new files. We create very small encrypted packets, so the total traffic per day on a normal device is probably somewhere between 150 and 200 kilobytes. So as network traffic goes for a device on a network, it's very, very small.
Yeah, I second.
Okay.
Yeah, it's pretty much the same. Like, we make sure that everything is working in a highly optimized way, trigger based, and we're protecting organization with 26,000 mailboxes, and even for them, like, we are sending packets from the email clients to the cloud for inspection, and we're experiencing no real overhead whatsoever.
Great. Thank you so much for answering that. And we have clarification on the question from Andre. This is for you, Joseph. How do you handle Medicare compliance?
That's a good Medicare, Medicaid. Okay, so it really goes to the meaningful use, right? So the idea of meaningful use, is really tied into the security risk assessment, right? So the idea is they were looking to attest, organizations were looking to attest for meaningful use through getting a security risk assessment, which granted their payments for Medicaid and Medicare. If they got a security risk assessment and they also electronified their health records, they would have got a monetary stimulus for the government for doing so. Now, one of the things, obviously, that's one of the 6 audits. We would incorporate that in our solution. Obviously, we addressed that, but I'm glad they brought this up because it's one of the keys in the market, one of the misunderstandings in the market. A lot of offices, medical practices, hospitals were looking to attest for meaningful use, get paid by the government. They did so, but in the end, it didn't make them HIPAA compliant because they only completed one of 6 audits. So it's a very confusing thing. You need to be HIPAA compliant, which would have included your Medicare, Medicaid, and electronic health records. But a lot of people went for the meaningful use assessment and weren't HIPAA compliant. So a lot of people are stuck right now as meaningful use compliant, but not HIPAA compliant. But yes, we do address it all.
Okay, great. We are at 2 o'clock, and I'd like to thank everybody for attending. If you have any other questions, please email them to me or to the individual partners. We'd love to have you involved with SaaSMAX if you are not already on board as a SaaSMAX reseller. Please reach out to Clint. His email address is on the screen. Thank you, everybody, for attending, and we look forward to the next webinar that we get to enjoy with all of you. Have a great day, everyone.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you very much.